So many things I want to express, but every time I try, cause all the thoughts I have won't translate onto the paper. I should get out of bed and maybe get myself dressed before 2 p.m. and maybe...
Welcome to East Coast DNA, back with another of my apartment talk series, but don't have everyone here in the apartment. I'm in my apartment, and you boys are in your own little band house, I assume.
Yeah.
So welcome customer service.
Thank you.
And there we go.
Sweet.
All right, welcome to East Coast DNA. We have customer service here today. So this is one of my infamous take 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So we're a little bit of a restart. It always starts off a little giddy, I guess. So as we were just saying, and new for the viewers, you're a new Halifax-based band.
Yeah.
And most of you are originally from HRM area.
Yeah.
We do have an Amherst connection, which little shout out. You guys just did a performance in Amherst with WHYGO, who was our last episode as well. And you have a show coming up with WHYGO for their EP release at Shoebox Studios right down here in Glasgow.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that should be a pretty exciting show. Now, is that your second time playing at Shoebox?
Yeah, it's gonna be our second time. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's the performance I caught before when you guys were out and you had all the shirts and ties on, I think, for that night.
Yeah, that was our one and only Shoebox performance so far. Yeah.
Cool. So that'd be exciting for you to return there as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a
awesome.
great spot. It has
crazy.
amazing sound. Yeah.
And you guys, I was aware of, sorry if some of it sounds a little repetitive based on our just conversation a few minutes ago, but I'm aware of you guys mostly through your Instagram feed and the association with some of the other bands that you've been playing with as well. But without any recordings out there, there's very little information for people to find online. I did find a YouTube video that you guys recorded at least one song.
Yeah.
Can't remember what channel that was on. That wasn't through like your own official channels.
He's like our friend who like does all like the videos of us live and stuff.
Cool.
We just like went out to Nick's like family's cabin and we like brought a generator and just did like a live off the floor session of one of our songs.
That's fine. So you guys are very do it yourself, and as you mentioned, you all met at Dalhousie, was it?
Yeah. Pretty well. Like me and Max have been friends since we were like 3 years old. We were next door neighbors growing up. We're cousins, so we've known each other since we were born. And then we met Matt. We actually didn't really meet Matt at Dal. We met him through the metaverse with a Facebook Marketplace ad.
Yeah. They put out an ad looking for a guitarist and singer, and I replied to it.
And were you a guitarist and singer at the time, or is this one of those I just want to be in a band?
That was a guitarist, but not a singer.
Oh, there you go.
Made him sing.
Yeah, they made me sing.
So how long have you guys been together as a full band then?
I did like this. We've been
It's a little over a year.
Yeah, like we played our first show together a bit over a year ago. The 4 of us and started like practicing together. Beforehand, like when me and Max were in high, like during COVID.
Yeah.
Max started like writing songs and playing together, but yeah, it wasn't really like customer service or a band or like we didn't have a social media page or anything until these guys joined like a year ago.
So coming up on 2 years of like us practicing, or 3 years.
Yeah.
Like 3 years of playing music, but like just over a year of like these four guys
And playing shows.
and playing like bar shows.
And is it something like, were you taking music programs, or you just all have appreciation for the same types of things?
Owen and I pretty much learned our instruments in the same room together. I like played acoustic guitar for a year, and it was like finger picking. singer-songwriter stuff that I wanted to learn, and then we were like, oh, we should try playing louder music. So I took my dad's electric guitar, and first time I ever like used a guitar pick or anything was in Owen's basement, and then we started practicing from there. But you guys have music background for like
yeah, I'm doing like a minor in music and played in like some bands in like high school and junior high and stuff. But
not just a minor in music, a minor in bass.
Minor in bass. Minor
Oh
in bass.
wow.
Yeah. It's fun time. But this is my first time like ever being like a real band and like writing a lot of our own songs and stuff like that. It's really fun.
And we did lightly touch on it, but your sound and the, like I say, your whole kind of vibe that you have, there's obviously 90s influence. I realize that does seem to be something that's kind of been coming back for a while, and we're started shifting into that late 90s, early 2000s kind of, the whole pop culture scene starting to pick up on some of those vibes again, and cycles, it always does. So the new retro was when I was becoming an adult. So I definitely see a lot of stuff in what you guys are doing, and bands like WHYGO and Gardner, and it's reminding me of that mid 90s music scene coming out of this area. And as you guys had mentioned when I was talking to you previously there, like the Seattle scene and everything that was happening in the 90s. So where is that influence coming from for you for? Is it something that you had parents or older family members listening to growing up, so you're into it that way, or something you discovered on your own?
My dad always was super into, like, my dad's been playing drums for years, and he would, like, my dad's band, like, opened for Fugazi when he was younger, and he's,
Cool.
like, so a lot of those bands. So just, like, growing up around the house, like, my dad was always playing a bunch of that shit. And my mom actually dated the drummer of Sloan for a while.
Okay, cool.
Her first boyfriend in high school. So, like, she's been, like, friends with all of those guys for forever. So, like, a lot of, like, Sloan and, like, Halifax 90s stuff's also around the house.
And this time I have some props.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mentioned that I had them. There's another jail one there, and all right, I even have a third one.
Oh my gosh, 3.
And then there's a little Sloan 45 there as well. So I had all the goodies dug out last night. I'm in total 90s mode this week.
Was Jail your favorite band from that scene?
I was really into, and it's not a surprise probably for people that watch a lot of these episodes. I've probably mentioned it a couple times. I tended to purchase things that my friends were not listening to, because you could only buy so many albums back then. And if somebody else has Metallica, I'm probably not going to buy that because I hear it every time I'm at their house.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd always buy different stuff. So Sloan was a band I was really into when they came out. But Jail I really gravitated towards because none of my friends were listening to them. So that's the stuff I still have. And in my head, they were huge. And for a few years, I mean, there was constant buzz for it. We didn't have the social media that we have today. So that's an era that I fondly remember. And that is a band that I really hung on to for a while.
Yeah.
There's actually some cool CBC live performances that were recorded and released as little CDs. Like, it's, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago or something. But a bunch of those Halifax bands from that era, Jail, one of them, had done recordings, like newer ones.
Oh, neat.
So it's kind of a fun little thing to go dig in for if you're into that thing in the first place.
Yeah.
And you mentioned some other bands too, like Hardship Post, like Thresh Hermit or Joel Plaskett. Like, there was so many bands at that time that I'm really starting to see. Maybe I'm seeing what I want to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, there definitely seems to be that scene. It's not like Halifax has always been strong for that, but there does seem to be a lot of new bands coming out of the woodwork. But they're here in Pictou County, they're in Amherst, they're in Antigonish, they're up in Cape Breton. They're like everybody's popping out of the woodwork. So it probably, maybe you guys might find this perspective a little interesting. In the 90s, a lot of it came out of people actually putting bands together and playing in their garage. Because, like, what are you going to do to kill time? Like, you get together and you're hanging around, so people are jamming out in garages.
Yeah.
And I think you guys had mentioned kind of COVID. in that era. And a lot of the new bands, I mean, timing wise, it makes sense. But I do think that everything being shut down kind of brought that back. So we might have, you may be part of a new generation that has been inspired by a culture shift.
Yeah.
And it just happens to have parallels to something that happened a couple decades ago.
Yeah.
So it's real interesting parallels. But now I'm seeing you guys do your vlog for your tour. Is that going to continue? Are you going to continue doing little episodes?
Yeah, we're hoping to become like a lot more serious with like putting up YouTube, or not serious, but make a lot more YouTube videos, vlogs. We also recorded our last house show that we had here.
Cool.
We took like footage, and we also had like a board hooked up with microphones and everything. So we're also planning on releasing some like live songs from the house show as well, with some videos.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
Because
when
we
can
don't have much of a presence, and we want to just start getting more stuff out there as soon as
Yeah.
we can.
And so you obviously put a lot of effort into nailing down your live show.
Yeah.
And when you're moving forward here, building new content and getting a following, when should people be able to expect some actual recordings to be released?
End of the summer, fall, I think.
Yeah, that's soon.
Around September. September around there.
I mean,
That's
like,
exciting.
it just depends on how long it takes to track. We
Yeah.
have like a good groundwork and planning for like scheduling when we want to do this and when we're going to do that. But then it's really just about like putting pen to paper, getting it actually done. And then as soon as it's done, I mean, we can just release it whenever. That just comes to like making a marketing plan and all that. And we can
Sure.
pull it up if we want to. But until I think like right now, by the end of the summer, it should like all be tracked out. Hopefully by the end of June, we should get tracked.
Yeah.
But, like even that feels ambitious. We wanted everything to be recorded, finished recording, all mixed, all mastered to go for the start of June. And like we haven't even started tracking yet. So like we're
Okay.
definitely behind schedule, but like that doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah.
So.
And so I'm sure some of our viewers are going to be catching the performance with WHYGO on the weekend.
Mhm.
Is there any other shows that you have booked beyond that you can share now?
We've got a whole summer tour booked up. We're going pretty much. We've already been banging out a bunch of the East Coast like Canada dates. We've just been doing like we all work and shit, right? So we're doing like 2 shows on the weekend, coming home, going out, playing a show, coming back, and we're in the middle of that right now. And then come July, we're gonna be up in Ontario and Quebec for for like 2 weeks. But our next like Halifax shows, we're playing the Seahorse on June
We're gonna
9th.
do like chronologically. We have like because we have New Glasgow this weekend, and then next weekend is the weekend after is we have Truro on the 2nd, and then Max's birthday on the 3rd, and then the night of Max's birthday is show what's that like Spoonapalooza
At Gas.
Oh, cool.
and then is it the one the weekend after that?
Weekend after that.
Weekend after that, yeah, it's Seahorse with Kids Losing Sleep.
Yeah.
And then it's tour.
Yeah, then it's like 2 weeks off, and then we're going up to Ontario and Quebec for a run of shows.
Well, I don't have an eloquent way of phrasing this to get you to answer it, so I'm just going to ask it as a complete novice on the outside, like, and as a fan, I guess.
Yeah.
So without any recordings, like I said, I do see your presence online,
Mm-hmm.
but how are you able to book all those shows with all these bands that are like, I mean, a lot of those bands that are on those bills could play with anybody that
I
they
don't
wanted
know.
to.
We send a lot of emails. We annoy the fuck out of everyone.
And to be able to get like,
Yes, sir, everybody.
there's a lot of bands in our region that can't get gigs in like Montreal and Ontario. So you guys are
I mean, we
getting out
probably
early.
over 100 venues for like 12 shows. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, just a lot of emails.
Yeah.
It's persistence. That's the key for everyone out there.
Like good ones though. Out of it, like
Yeah.
our first show is in Toronto at the Horseshoe Tavern.
Awesome.
Really stoked about.
Mhm.
And yeah, so like I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Luck and persistence. It's like a good mixture of both.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully they're all successful shows, but I mean, even just to list them all out on paper, that's going to be an impressive resume by the time you're done with the summer for sure.
The plans to go right back out. Like we're already thinking about like doing similar like big tours for October, maybe November. Just I think the plan is just to go play up there as much as we can going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's awesome that you have the opportunity for sure. Like I say, right out of the gate, that's it's not unheard of completely, but you're definitely you're very lucky. That's for sure. There's like I say, those are all bands, and there are going to be a lot of sold out shows that you're part of, I'm sure.
It's gonna be pretty sweet.
We're hoping.
It's also like it's crazy too because it's our first experience ever booking something like that, like
Yep.
really fun. And it's, I mean, Owens and Nick have put in a lot of hours, but it's also just only been like positive from our end on like what like we have it. It's not like we like tried to book it and it didn't work. So we only have like a good experience of trying to book something like this.
I don't know if I call it good.
Not good.
I was up like till 4 a.m. many nights, like me and this dude doing posters and sending emails. It was a lot of work, but yeah, it was. I mean, we're super grateful.
It ended up okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome to hear. I was a little surprised to hear some of those. Like I said, without any recordings, I'm a little old school. I'm used to people knowing who you are because they heard your single or something, right?
Yeah.
So what are you pushing online right now? Like, do you have anything that you're trying to get people to drive traffic towards? You're mostly on Instagram. Do you have a Facebook page as well?
No, not on Facebook.
You're on TikTok.
Yeah, we do have a TikTok. You can go there if you want to, but it's the Instagram is what it's all about for us.
So what's for anyone that's looking for you, customer service isn't the easiest thing for people to find either. So it's customerservice.ca or something.
.ca on Instagram.
Customerservice.ca.
That's
like
pretty awesome.
The thing of deciding that name, we were like, I mean, we're still pretty young, but we were a lot younger when we came up with that name, and it's just like, what's the stupidest thing we can call our band? And that.
Well, and even when you land on there, I mean, if anyone's watching this, they can see the logo that you have up on the wall there and behind. So your picture on Instagram's the same thing.
Set up Nick's mom.
Oh, look at that! That's awesome. I have my mom made East Coast DNA mugs for me and my brother. Actually, I have one just sitting off here to the side.
Oh, nice. Moms are great, eh?
Moms are the best.
All the moms.
Yeah.
Shout out all the DIY moms.
Yeah, that mom.
And for your YouTube channel, then where should people look for that? So if you're going to be pushing content there throughout the summer, we might as well send a few people over that way as well.
So we have in our Instagram bio, we have a link to a link tree, and from that link tree you can find basically everything.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Got like direct links to like the vlog and the grad day session and like our TikTok and whatever.
Perfect. We'll put a link to that down in the description here for this episode too, so everyone can get to that. And hopefully anybody watching this, the show for the weekend's not already sold out. It should be just
I hope it's already sold out.
yeah. Well, I mean, congratulations if it's sold out, because a packed house down there would be a nice way to spend the weekend for sure.
I've heard good things about WHYGO playing there, so.
Oh yeah, and like this is their hometown too, so I'm sure there will be a good turnout.
They're all good dudes. We kind of like, I know Matt, you've known Tanner for a bit.
Yeah, the drummer in WHYGO, he is also from Amherst.
Yeah.
Like a family friend. Like we kind of grew up together.
That's awesome.
Like kind of branched off, and then we just ended up doing kind of the same thing, which is sort of funny, just in different places. But
it is funny that you're both in bands and you both like live with the bands.
Yeah, I know, it's like a very similar situation. It's really strange, but no, and it was cool too, like being back in Amherst last week, like with him, because I mean I hadn't been back in Amherst like really since like 2019, and so like being there and like then like after the show, like they like brought us into their van. They were just hanging out in their van, which is. That's our next step, really. We need to get a van.
Oh yeah, well, we'll have to talk sometime when we're not recording. I was talking to them after the interview last night about the van. Actually, we might have something coming up that involves the van. So we'll fill you guys in off air.
How exciting!
Mental note.
So anyone that doesn't get a chance to catch you this weekend, there's definitely going to be plenty of opportunities over the upcoming months. And if they follow you on Instagram, they should have plenty of content to keep them aware of what's going on. Like I said, I've been following you guys for a couple months now anyway.
Yeah, we got a tour poster up that has all the dates too. So if,
Perfect.
anybody wants to look at that for locations and
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys go for now. Hopefully, I get a chance to catch you in the very near future, and I'll be looking forward to hearing some new tunes from you as well. Like I said, I saw you the once, so I'm a little depraved sitting here looking online. And I'm like, I found one song. That's not enough.
Yeah.
So definitely keep an eye on your YouTube channel as well. I'm excited to see more of the little vlog that you started.
Sweet.
And if you have anything that you want to promote in the future, be sure to reach out to us here. We can plug it in one of our episodes or share it on our social media. And anyone else out there that is watching this oh man, that's cool, I want to be on an episode, feel free to reach out to us. We got a little bit of a backlog right now, but I'm cranking them out as fast as we can. So there will be room for more in the near future.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you guys, and I'll see you soon.
Myself dressed before 2 p.m. and maybe I won't feel so depressed. I guess I should give it